very few dealerships started putting door counters on their door. Do you have one? What is it? Do you know the name? TrafSys. Okay. So it's got that software system that came with it, whether you use it or not.
That's right. We were the beta development. He's right down the street, so we've had it for free for.
What's his name? Dave something?
Dave. Chris. Chris is the guy that owns the dealership. He's their lead guy. I was one of the partners in it. Chris.
Well, here was the whole idea. Here's the biggest difference behind what we do at Garage Composite and what every other 20 Club provider does, whether it's Harley Davidson Performance Groups or John Spader or Dart Sutton or any of the other competitors that we have out there. They all look at what the store did. We look at what the store could have done. That's the fundamental difference between them. I don't really care what you did. Good for you. You have a whole community patting you on the back, telling you, good job, here's what you did. You have a paycheck that reiterates, good job, here's what you did. I don't care what you did. I really don't. I care what you could have done. And when my friend over here is an owner in this business, it's personally very important to me that this business recognizes what it could have done and starts to get to that level, play it at 100%. That means a lot to me, okay? So I get offended when I see numbers of a store that's grossly underperforming, be it this one or anyone else in the room, when I have an owner who understands what could have been done inside the store. The swing counters were the first way of looking at what could we have done. Because we'd sit around a room, pat each other on the back and say, oh, I sold 400 bikes, oh yeah, good job. Whether for the month, for the year, I don't care what we're talking about. We'd say, good job. And you'd sit there and you're like, is it a good job? I mean, if your HIO, your Harley's in operation, if you're selling 1% of your HIO and you're patting yourself as you're doing a good job. And I got another dealer over here that's selling 6%, which we know we can get about 6% of the HIO. The Harley's in operation, if your unit count is 6% of the total number of Harleys in operation, that's a good job. You're selling into a huge number and you're getting about 6% penetration in that number. Well, if you're selling 1 or 2%, how do you know you're doing a good job? And we didn't know that answer until we started tracking percent attainment of HIO. We don't know until we start tracking some of this stuff. So all of a sudden, 99 and 2000 door swing counters start popping up on buildings. Because you can tell me all day long they have a 20% closing ratio, but then when I look at the door swing counter and I find out that you're logging 7% of the people who walk in the front door only make it to the traffic log, and then you want to tell me I close 20% of the traffic log. No, you don't. You close 20% of the people you decided were customers. You only put 7% of the people on the log. Hear me when I say you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a fictitious conversation. We'll get to you in a second, right? If I had 100 people walk in the door and 7 of them made it onto the traffic log, and you're going to close 2 of 7, holy cow, what a crazy, awesome closing ratio that is. Good job closing 2 of 7. Why the hell did 7 make it to the log? Where'd the other 93 people go? Did anyone ask that question? 100 people walk in the door. Where'd the other 93 go? You got 7 on the log. Oh, I don't know. And you call back as an owner and you hear, we're slow today, boss. Really? You're slow today at the parts counter? Because according to my track system, 243 people walked in the door today. You can imagine it was an accountability and awareness for the people inside the dealership. Like, holy shit, there really are people here. You guys get numb to it. You walk in the store and you see a customer walk around, and it doesn't feel like there are that many people in here. But when you start having accountability, when you start putting a number on it, you start measuring it, you realize there are that many people inside our store. What are we doing with it? Because what the answer usually is somebody's clerking them. Somebody's clerking them. Somebody's not bringing them into the family. Somebody's not cultivating a relationship. Somebody in parts is not making sure to turn the deal over to one of you guys in sales. Somebody's just ringing them up and letting them go out the door because they think it's about a widget as opposed to human connection. That's what probably happens at the store. Door swing counters were the first awareness we had that. In 2000, I'm sitting in a meeting in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this was at Ray Price Harley Davidson. And one of the guys in the room had a door swing counter. And he said, it is fundamentally changing our business because now there's an awareness for how many people really are inside of our store. So we went on a tear in 2000 and 2001. He got into door swing counter. Everyone's got to get a door swing counter. And so everybody started getting a door swing counter. We started putting that number on the top of our traffic log, which you've seen our reports. We have that number on the top of the traffic log. Here's how many times the door swung open, and here's how many people we greeted. And for years, before the economy tanked, for 5 years, we started tracking that number. And we said, how many door swings make it to the traffic log? And here's my question for you. How many people who walk in the door of Steel City Harley-Davidson, and what's this, you're on Traffic Law Pro, right? How many people should make it into Traffic Law Pro? I hope that's the answer. All of them. All of them should be given an opportunity to buy a motorcycle and have a Harley-Davidson change their life. And you'll hear me in the afternoon, morning session stuff. I'll throw out a bunch of data. One of them is the number of people who bought a new motorcycle who've never been on a motorcycle before. That number went from 53% to 55% this year. More than half of people who bought a motorcycle last year have never been on a bike before. So you have all these people coming in your store, and I think the assumption is that everyone is supposed to get on the log to have a chance to own a motorcycle. So on one hand, to make money, and on the other, to change a people's life. I hope that's the mentality. For 5 years, we tracked the national average, and we were trending at about 280 dealers back then. We were tracked data for every single one. So between 280 and 300 dealers, the national average of how many swings made it to the traffic log. What do you think the percentage? You're telling me 100% should make it to the log. What do you think the percentage was in the industry as a national average for 5-year trend? Take a stab at it. 20? Less than 10? We got that.
It's a total guess, but 15%?
15 Phil?
Yeah.
Less than 10? Basil? 20? Thoughts?
5.
7. That's why I use that number. 7. You've got, and you in particular have the dude that spends money in marketing and advertising, right? I guess at Lisa were here, I'd be like, you spend money in marketing and advertising, right? You spend $350 freaking $1,000 to drive people into your store through events and marketing. And what do we do? Because as an industry, 7% of them were given the chance to even entertain maybe one day owning a motorcycle. If you're an owner, would you drop another $350 out there? Because I would dial it back to 0 if I were an owner. When you start getting the number of people on the traffic, you start getting 70% of the door swings on the log, now I'm happy to throw money at advertising money. No problem. Happy to do so. So it was a real awareness of how deficient our sales departments across the country were. And a lot of it wasn't a lack of trying, a lot of it was a lack of staffing, which I keep saying is the number one deficiency in the industry, is we don't have enough people to get the experience everybody walking through the front door. So, invariably somebody would tell me, Sam, you're telling me 7% of the door swings make it to the traffic lawn, but I've got 2 doors, and dude over here has got 1 door. So how can you compare my numbers to him? And this guy's service department is detached from the building. So how do you make any sense of the apples to apples of it all? So the volatility or the vagueness, the grayness, if you will, of trying to track between one store and another and find a number that, like 60% of your door swings should make it to the traffic law, it was too hard because some guys have bikes upstairs, some guys only have a swing count on 1 door when they actually, I could sneak in the back of your service and it wouldn't count on the swing. You got a million different reasons. Your door swing counter counts them going both directions, so really your number's not 7, it's 14, right? And you got to know the guys that had that answer. Because a lot of door swing counters, they count people going both directions. They don't just count going one direction. There are 2 I-beams. If you break this one first, it counts. If you break this one first, it doesn't count. So you can track people going one way and not going the other way. When I throw that 7% out there, they jump all over me about, you don't understand, Sam. My door swing counter counts are going both ways, so your day doesn't make any sense. To which my answer is, okay, double it. So instead of 7, you got 14. Good job. It's so horribly offensive, that number. I don't care if you triple it. I don't care if you quadruple it. It's an awful number as far as the performance of most sales departments around the country. Now, again, this was 01 to 05, 06, it's that whole time frame. So we had to start looking for another way to track. We had to start looking for something that everybody could agree on and everybody could get behind. And it had to be stable. Door swings were just volatile. the sun would shine on a sensor at some dealerships, and they would trigger 100 door swings in the middle of the afternoon of 100 people that didn't really come in. So all of a sudden, none of the numbers make sense, which is, we call that a fuzzy X-ray. At some point, you get a fuzzy X-ray, like, what am I going to do with a fuzzy X-ray, right? So what are we going to do? So there's a guy named Matt Chiappetta. Matt Chiappetta was a general manager for Ride Now. Ride Now's got 37, 38 stores. Actually, they just bought America's Power Sports, so they now have 6 more stores. So they're actually up to 43 stores across the southern belt of the country. They had 37 before the economy tanked. They closed the doors of 9 dealerships, went down to 28. They were back to 37 just before a week ago, and they just closed on APS, America's Power Sports. They bought the APS store, so they have 6 stores in the portfolio now, 3 metric and 3 Harley. They just added to it. How do you do that? You run on systems. That's how you do that. You stamp out stores and you put managers in place and you say, this is how we do it. This is the only way that we do it. We do it this way every single time. My business partner, Tony Gonzalez, he's very high up in the fire department. He was a career fireman. He is a career fireman. He's waiting for his pension to kick in so that he can walk away from it. He's already walked away from being the guy that lives in the burning buildings. He will tell you the reason he wants out is because there are only so many of your friends that you can see die. Think of that world, right? And you talk to Tony and you're like, hey, when you enter a burning building, how do you do it? And he will very methodically walk you through, this is exactly what you do. And you go in on this side and you get against this wall and you move around and you watch the smoke patterns and eventually you get down and he will tell you exactly how to do it. And if he doesn't do that job exactly right, what might happen to him? He dies. Okay? So he's literally up the ranks where he walks in and they're like, oh, that's Tony Gonzalez, kiss the ring. That's how high he is within the fire department. Which is hilarious to me because he's just my beer-drinking, girl-chasing buddy for the last 15 years of my life. So to have him on that side of the fence is very interesting. But if you don't follow process, people die. You are not given the opportunity to not follow process. What happens if we don't follow process in the motorcycle industry? Yeah, other than a technician. Is anyone going to die if we don't follow the sales process?
Not physically die.
No. What's going to die? What is going to die? Business. If you guys sit here and tell me that every single person who walks through the front door is supposed to go on the traffic log, and you're getting 1 person on the log for every 10.7 activities happening in the store, see my issue there? That's 10 people that die in the fire department. Nobody dies in the motorcycle park. How is it okay to break process and protocol over here when we know it to be the right thing to do? Why do I want to get him on the law? To change that guy's life, to give him a chance to maybe own a Harley Davidson or to trade up to another Harley Davidson. It's the right thing for you, it's the right thing for the store, and most importantly, it's the right thing for the customer. Put them on the law. If we believe and we have a fundamental philosophy of put everybody on the law, how can we be so, and that's of the people who bought something in the store, who had a transaction, not just everybody who came to the store. Anyone want to hit me with an answer on that?
Restate that question.
I think one thing you need to do, and I don't want to make you maybe you're coming. You've gone from door swing and you just now are talking about transactions. You never explain what that is.
Oh, I'll get there.
Okay.
I will get there, absolutely.
Maybe that's why there's a confusion.
Let's just say that I'm tracking how many people are in the store, right? You've got transactions degree. Let's just say I'm talking about store visits degree. How many people made the log to how many people were walked in the store? If you're in a ratio, let's just call that 10. If you're telling me that everybody should get on the log, and you're putting 1 person on the log for every 10 people walking in the store, how can you justify the performance of that department? Now, that's got to go to you. So can you answer that for me?
The biggest question that I always have, Sam, and I've asked Pokey about this, is, and as you say right now we're understaffed, I'm looking at it from the sales department perspective, and of course there's always factors to weigh there, because it's a commission-based way of being paid in the sales department. So if we up staff, and we had this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
if we up staff up to what might be 8, which is where we were last year, even 10, which ideally, when you're selling plenty of bikes, you don't want the guys to starve. So you've got challenges in that factor. But anyways, going back to my first question where I was leading to,
Yep.
and it's just an overall. I think it's a very important question, especially for me. Is everybody in the most successful stores when it comes to transaction rates, meaning all employees,
Yep.
putting people on the lawn?
No, sales department.
Just the sales department?
Yes. Everybody's responsible for getting deals over to sales, and sales is responsible for getting into the other departments. Okay. Now, to your point.
But a piece of that, though, like yesterday when we were up in Boston, every person in the staff knew about it. When you asked the room,
Every motor
who
float
knows?
person knew
Every
the rate.
person in the room knew about that this was being
So
tracked.
there was an understanding.
There was an understanding store-wide, and what that does is that drives the other departments to understand that I don't get to sell parts to this motorcycle unless the sales department sells them a motorcycle. It all trickles down from the sales department. More than 75% of the revenue comes from the metal. If the metal's not moving, the other departments don't have things to sell, so they have a fundamental understanding throughout the dealership to push them to the sales department, and vice versa. So there's going to be ways that we're going to talk about to drive that number up, or down actually, down.
So let me just give you a couple of numbers, and I'll get back into it. I'll promise you, okay? You will have a crystal clear understanding of transactions, where they came from, and all that kind of stuff. Just your numbers.